We are almost there. Like, it's right around the corner. You can almost smell it. No, that's something else. The NFL season is just a few weeks away. We have been through week 1 of the preseason, and we already have hot takes all over the place. We bring in our friend Will Brinson, senior NFL writer, CBS Sports.com, and I believe, barring an emergency 9, we begin for real Monday after the second wave of preseason games. The third games don't matter. The second games will matter. Sir, should we already fit Shedeur Sanders for Rookie of the Year sweaters?
By the way, I would be remiss if I didn't shout out all my I mean, he's not even young anymore, but Robbie Brinson, fifth grader, started today.
Are you joking?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
So,
remember when he was like, remember when he used to come in the studio and he was like,
with his iPad?
He just sit on his iPad. I do an hour in studio. So fifth grade today. So I know how Deion Sanders feels, right? You got your kid going to the big leagues, but on Shedeur and all the kids at Lord's for their for kicking things off on this glorious Tuesday. But I would say the thing with Shedeur is, I thought he looked pretty good, and. Yeah. The preseason thing, you can go both ways on it, right? You can say, well, if it confirms what you expected from a player, you're like, yeah, look, I told you this guy's going to be great. And if he doesn't play well, it's like, what's preseason? It doesn't matter. Or if you didn't think the guy was going to be very good and he plays well, you can say, oh, he's playing against nobodies.
Right.
I was arguing with Pete Prisco about Bryce Young, and that's because I thought Bryce looked really sharp in the preseason. He's playing bartenders and bouncers. It's like, be that as it may, like the dude's making the throws.
Well, then we should put no stock into anybody's performance.
Correct. But so, I think you have to just look at it with a little bit of nuance. Typically speaking, I think running backs are the easiest to evaluate in the preseason just because you can sort of see the burst and, if you're getting any kind of blocking. But the quarterbacks, you can take something away. Like, look, if you're Shedeur Sanders and you're supposed to be this top 10 pick and you fall to the 5th round, the Browns pick you up, you're 4th on the depth chart, you go out there and start because of injuries and everything they're dealing with on that terrible depth chart, and you look sharp and you make some nice throws and you look composed. Like, that's all you can ask for. I think Daniel Jeremiah said on NFL Network, it's like, you're looking for operation of the offense first and foremost if you're a rookie and you go out there. And if you can do that and then you can also make some good throws and look reasonably sharp, then I think that's a big step forward. Now, I don't even know that we could fit him for the starter jacket, right? Like for the Browns just quite yet. But I do think if he plays well in the preseason, the upside, the genetic upside that he possesses, and sort of the height. Obviously, the height. People couldn't stop tweeting about it, talking about it, and get alerts left and right on him. I think. It wouldn't be the first time in Browns history that Jimmy Haslam, the owner, stepped in and said, we're doing this at the quarterback position. Kevin Stefanski probably wants to try to win games first rather than develop a young quarterback or try to see what they have in a young quarterback just because of the fragile nature of head coaching position. So I think Joe Flacco is probably ultimately going to get the job and be the starter. But, Shedeur should get every chance possible to try and win the job or at least win the backup job. And I'd say he's probably the favorite to be the backup just because, what is Kenny Pickett showed us plenty and it's not that impressive.
Yeah.
And then Dylan Gabriel, roughly the same draft capital as Shedeur, even if he was taken earlier.
Will Brinson is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I'm going to get to the Panthers here in a second because you already brought up Bryce Young. But real quick on Shedeur. First of all, there's been hot takes both ways. There are those people, he didn't play against anybody, but the Pete Priscos of the world. And then there are people who are like, my gosh, he was great. Because, both things are true. Because he played, almost the whole game, it seemed. And by the time we got past the second or third series, he really was playing against guys that are probably going back to bartending jobs or going to work in, in Amazon's warehouse. So it wasn't against, and that's probably being too disparaging. I don't mean that.
That seems like a nice job.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think it's been. Yeah.
Look, they ask a lot. We know they're demanding. Those are the rumors anyway. But for me, I thought the best thing about Shedeur was that it just didn't look like he was sped up at all. And I go back to early in the game. I thought he looked comfortable running an NFL offense. That is difficult, but he has been, he has been in the limelight. He has had the brightest lights on him his whole life. So I just think he's a little bit more advanced than a lot of people would be at this stage. So it was impressive just from that standpoint for me. Let me ask you about Bryce real quick, because I thought after the first series, which wasn't very good, I thought there was a ton good. The pass to Tepper and McMillan down the right side, which was good recognition on his part. Maybe a little slow to get it by Tet. And then the touchdown pass where he orchestrates Jalen Coker's move back to the inside to where he knew there would be a clearing. I just thought there was a lot good from Bryce. Then they got him off the field.
Yeah, and I would say, too, on the touchdown pass, it should have been a touchdown pass to T-Mac,
right,
or Tet, whatever we're calling him.
I go back and forth.
He ran you know it's fine. Or whatever he wants. I don't think it wasn't like it was a route, but it wasn't like he didn't run like some complex route. It was just a good move at the line of scrimmage down by the goal line, and he got open. And again, you're playing at bartenders, bouncers, whatever. But I think you like seeing that. You love seeing the placement from Bryce Young down there in the red zone, in the green zone, if you will. Put it right on his hands inside. Only one person can get their hands on the ball. Should have been a touchdown. And I liked that Tet immediately turned around and was like, that's on me. Right there. Like, I honestly didn't think that ball would be right there. It hit me in the hands, went right through my hands, should have had it. But, yeah, the bounce back. Did you see that pass? And you think, man, like, ooh, that's one where, you dial that up and you think, all right, how it's almost like a kind of a nice test, honestly. Like, how does a young quarterback, granted in his third year, but still a young quarterback, respond to that sort of disappointment from the rookie receiver? And he just, he stands in the pocket, gets a little pressure up the middle, rolls out right, didn't look like he panicked and left the pocket early, and then delivers a great throw to Coker in the back of the end zone for a touchdown on the next play. So, I mean, look, I think we talked about this a few weeks ago. There's a lot of range of outcomes for the Panthers this season. I mean, seriously, they could win 5 games and they could win 11 games. And I don't think either would be that shocking.
I don't think they can win 11 games. Will
I just think in an 18-game season,
I don't think they can win 11.
I don't think they're going to win 11 games. But I'm saying if you laid out. So, let's say you take the spectrum of possibilities for the Buffalo Bills, right? Assuming Josh Allen healthy for the whole season, or Chiefs, whatever you want to do, you're probably in the range of 10 to 17 wins. Like that's the spectrum of possibilities. Like maybe you want to go 9 to 16, whatever you want to do. Like if everything, and now are the Chiefs or the Bills going to win 17 games? Probably not. Like that would be really. I see
what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like in football when we have this oblong bouncy leather thing that does weird stuff, and you're going to get a couple of these one-score games, and if you get lucky, the Panthers are probably something in the range of a 6, 7, 8, 9 win team. Like and that's where like the cluster is of the outcomes. But there are these like really weird. Things that are like really weird seasons that occur all the time where you either have really good luck or you have really bad luck. And I think the upside is like 10 wins for them in the division title. I mean, probably the realistic upside is probably 9 wins. The Bucs aren't as good as they were last year, or they finish 8 and 9, or the Panthers win a tiebreaker. Whatever, that's probably the realistic upside. But I'm just saying that and look, a lot is going to come down to Bryce Young. And this is the case of the Eagles a few years ago where it's like, okay, look, the Eagles have a really good, and the Panthers don't have a roster nearly what the Eagles had, obviously. No. But they have, and they don't have nearly as much on defense. But the first Eagles team, the year before they made the Super Bowl, I was like, look, if you get like or maybe it was the year they made the Super Bowl against the Chiefs the first time, but it's like you get any sort of development from Jalen Hurts as a passer, and all of a sudden it changes everything. Like if you get a medium step forward from Bryce Young, and you get what you got down the stretch last year from Bryce Young for a full season,
yeah.
I mean, the Panthers are just going to be a dangerous team. Like, even if their defense isn't great, they're going to be able to run the football. They have the weapons in the passing game, I feel like. And so, yeah, I mean, like, I wouldn't want to hammer the Panthers over, but I wouldn't be surprised if they cleared it by 2 games.
You know what I would do? I'm going to look at it from a fantasy football perspective. I think there are certain Panthers that you wouldn't mind having, whether it's McMillan or Chuba Hubbard. You know, maybe you want to take a flyer on Bryce Young because you think he's going to have to throw a bunch because they're going to have to score a lot of points to win. Yeah. And I would go after players who are going to play against the Panthers as well. So if you were flex starting, the Jacksonville. Give me the Thomas, the wide receiver. No, yeah, Travis Hunter.
Yeah, Travis Hunter.
Oh, my son's got Travis Hunter on his fantasy team. Oh, my gosh, play him. Travis Hunter's going to go for points in week 1.
I'll tell you the guy to grab from Jacksonville, by the way, if people are doing their fantasy drafts. Hopefully nobody I'm sure somebody's listening, so whatever, don't steal him. But Bashal Tutin, the rookie out of Virginia Tech, I think I may have mangled his first name on the pronunciation.
Yeah,
but,
I don't know who that is.
He's getting a lot of run with the Jaguars' first team. They like him a lot.
Okay.
And their other running backs are Travis Etienne, who I think they'll find a way to use in this offense, but maybe more as sort of like a receiving type of back. And then you have Tank Bigsby. So like I would tell you, Tutin could be a big time sleeper this year. So tell your son to grab him.
Yeah, okay. Their draft is already over. Will Brinson, senior NFL writer, CBSSports.com. Let me ask you about Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. What is the level of worry, do you think, for Green Bay? I know he had a minor procedure on his thumb to clean up some ligament damage. They say, he'll be back soon, but it's a thumb. That isn't good for a quarterback.
Yeah, it's his left hand, so that's good.
Okay, but that's better. So, he doesn't throw left-handed, so it shouldn't be an issue. No, why are they even worried about it?
Well, I mean, you're still a couple of weeks out, and now he's not going to get those reps. You're not going to get, you've got Matthew Golden, the rookie wide receiver in there, who you want to continue to develop a rapport with. He's been, by all accounts, really impressive in training camp and the preseason. Christian Watson, I think, is going to start the season on the pop. Look, the other thing too is that's a really tough division. The Bears look like they should be a lot better. Coaching upgrades, offensive line upgrades. Caleb Williams in the second year. You have the Lions, who people are sort of down on for whatever, I guess, because the coordinators left. I think they'll be fine. And then you have the Vikings, and Kevin O'Connell just does a great job. So it's sort of one of those things where just look at, you're not going to get the same outcome as last year, but Jordan Love banged up some during the season. And, those sort of just even if it's like an injury that doesn't cost him playing time, but does cost him, off-season reps and practice and prep, that's just the sort of thing that can add up over the course of a season where, even if it's just the slightest edge, you're going up against the best division in football, and maybe you're a wild card instead of winning the division. I wouldn't sweat this injury too much outside of just missing reps and missing practice time.
All right. What do we make of any of the other, we'll call them hold-ins, Parsons, Hendrickson, McLaurin? It looks like Cam Hayward now at Pittsburgh is in the same general category. What do we make of any of those guys?
Yeah, so the Hayward thing is interesting because he kind of did this last year. They redid his deal, and then he went out and had an all-pro season, and now he's like, I'll miss games. I don't care. You guys are all in. I'm old, and I want my money.
Right.
Somebody tell him to bring me my money. So look, I think that one could get a little sticky, but I would get he's the as much as T.J. Watt is the sizzle on that defense, and that's not. I'm not suggesting he's not stinky too. Cam Hayward's sort of the rock of that defense. So
yes.
I would expect they'll figure out a way to get something done there. The Micah Parsons thing, we talked about it a bunch. I mean, it's weird. They haven't the way the dialogue is going back and forth is not healthy or conducive, but they're not going to trade him. They've said that, and I believe that before they said that. He's too valuable a player, too good of a player. I think they'll figure out something with Micah Parsons to make sure that he plays this season. And then on the other two that are kind of notable on the offensive side of the ball, you have James Cook for the Bills, who is back at practice on Tuesday. Sean McDermott indicated that something had changed, which is usually the precursor for he's going to get a contract. And I think there was, he's sort of waiting on some market forces to materialize, and now he's in a good place to get paid. He's, a great running back. I think they'll give him a reasonable deal. And then you have Terry McLaurin, who interestingly was spotted on Tuesday talking on the sidelines with GM Adam Peters. Again, think about the situations these teams are in, where you have the Bills who, still have this window open where they can go win a Super Bowl. They want James Cook in there. They have Ray Davis.
Right.
They have Ty Johnson. But, James Cook, I'm pretty sure, led the league in rushing touchdowns last year, or at least was close.
Yeah, he's a huge part of what they do.
Yeah, it's a huge part of what they do. They run the football a ton, especially in this new offense. And so they'll figure out how to get that done. The same thing goes with the Commanders, right? They have a second-year quarterback in Jaden Daniels who was incredibly special last year.
Yeah.
They know they have a window while he's on his rookie deal to make something happen, and it would be asinine not to.
Yeah.
And look, that's why Terry McLaurin wants his money. He's like, look, I played great. I want to get paid. I'm 30. I know you need me for this window. I know you have extra cash for this window. So I think those two will probably resolve themselves. Maybe even by the end of the week.
By the way, there's a great article on ESPN on how Jerry Jones cost the Cowboys about $100 million with horrible negotiating decisions with Prescott twice, CD Lamb, and now Micah Parsons. Dude.
And the crazy thing with these Cowboys guys is all three of them, not that they're willing to take less, but they're like, sign me early.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and wait until the last minute and get the absolute apex of the market. I just want to get a bunch of money and play for this Cowboys team. And it's that's what Jerry wants. Is he says, well, it's the allure of the star. It's yeah, dude, you can use it. Get them, pay them early.
Yeah.
Get them on teamish friendly deals, and then you can work it out down the road. It's wild how much money he's wasted on that.
All right, final thing for Will Brinson, senior NFL writer, CBS Sports.com. I made a wild prediction last week, so I don't know what day it was last week. And you can either react to it or you can make your own wild prediction. My prediction was the New England Patriots will be in the playoffs this upcoming year. That is my prediction. I think the Patriots will make the playoffs. Would you like to comment on that or pick behind behind door number 2?
I'll comment on the Patriots thing and save my bold predictions for closer to the season. Mostly because I don't have one off the top of my head. But,
gotcha.
No, I think the Patriots call is an interesting one because, if you look at Drake May, I don't think anybody who, lives in the area, thinks that Drake May is, not a really talented football player. You have a team that's improved around him. Trevion Henderson
yes.
Man, he flashed. You have a division where the Jets are not a wild card in the sense of they're a
playoff team, right?
Wild card. Yeah, but I think the Jets are an interesting team to look out for this year in some degrees. The Dolphins look like a lot of people think they might take a step back. That defense sort of ravaged, and the Tyreek Hill stuff. Nobody knows if he's going to be the old Cheetah or if he's sort of turned this corner. And then you look around the AFC. Yeah, the AFC North has 3 potential playoff teams. In Cincy, Baltimore, and Pittsburgh. But, asking a lot out of Aaron Rodgers and asking a lot out of the Bengals defense to really, make some noise there. I think the AFC South is probably a 1, maybe 2 team playoffs if the Jaguars take some kind of big step forward or Liam Cohen. And then the AFC West, with the Chiefs, obviously, and then the Chargers just lost their starting left tackle in Rashawn Slater, so they moved Joe Alt over there. But I mean, that's a big loss for that Jim Harbaugh team. The Raiders still have a lot of work to do, and then the Broncos, if they can follow up, that first season with Bo Nix and Sean Payton, obviously not Sean Payton's first season, but with Bo Nix,
right?
And yeah, I mean, like the kudos to them. There's definitely like a soft spot on the back end of that AFC wildcard race, where a team like New England, with a really good coach in Mike Vrabel, some added pieces on offense, and a quarterback who they took thinking he could be a franchise quarterback and looked really good for stretches last year. If Drake May takes a step forward, like a medium step forward, New England could challenge for a wild card. It's
there
a
you
good
go.
hot take. I don't know exactly what the odds are, but I don't hate it.
No, I don't. Obviously, I said it, so I don't hate it either. Will Brinson, senior NFL writer, CBSSports.com. Speak with you next week. We get serious next week. I expect hot takes from you.
All right, man.